Well, hello, Cats fans. We had a nice win on the weekend, didn't we? 42 points against Adelaide. Let's talk about it. How's it going, everyone? Ben Reeve here from The Hoop Show, and let's talk about the Cats. So, as I said, 42 points. The Cats had a nice win against Adelaide. I suppose we expected to beat them, didn't we? What are they, down the bottom of the ladder, like 16, 17, 18, something like that. 2 or 3 wins for the year. So we got the job done. Let's have a little bit of a chat about it, though. I want to start with some ticks and crosses from the game. So we'll start with some ticks. What have we got here? So Scarlett has company. Now, I did put a poll out saying, where does Tom Stewart sit in I guess, comparing him to Enright and Scarlett. So I think most of us still had Scarlett miles in front, probably thanks to his 3 premierships. That helps a little bit as well. But I think Tom Stewart's catching him. He's definitely, I think he's caught up to Enright. But the time his career is all said and done, I think he's probably going to get close to Scarlett. A premiership or 2 might help that, but he's not too far off it. Tom Adkins, beast mode. Wasn't he great on the weekend? 17 tackles, doing all the tough stuff. Yeah, he didn't get 30 touches, but that's not what he's there to do. He does all the hard stuff so that our other mids can do their business. So I loved what I saw from him through the midfield. 17, I think he had 10 or 11 at half time. He was just killing it. Selwood did. I think Selwood had 13 as well. So both of them just went nuts. Our young guns are coming on. I think we had 9 young players under the age of 23 on the weekend. So yeah, like we won by 42 points, but you'll take that when you've got 9 blokes under the age of 23 in your side. There's still a gap from those young players to the old players. I'd love some more players around that 23 to 28 age range. But we're trying to transition, so maybe we'll get there. Maybe we'll get there with some drafts as well. Some trades. Might get a couple of players if we're lucky. If we're still a destination club, that might depend on how we go throughout the rest of the year. But the young guns are definitely coming. Speaking of coming, Sam de Koning, the golden god, he is risen. Surely he's due for a rising star this weekend. We're all going to head down to AFL House if he doesn't get it and just tear the place apart. Who's with me? We need to do something about it if he doesn't get it this week. So far, based on what I've seen through 6 games of footy, he'd have to be in front. But you never know what can happen last couple of games on a Sunday afternoon. We'll wait and see on that one. Now, I've said scratchy debut. I think that's referring to Shannon Neal, Scratcher Neal. He didn't have he was okay. He competed for a lot of marks, just couldn't quite clunk them. So he'll get there with a bit of confidence. Looks like a fun bloke based on what I saw in the song after the game, and the boys seem to enjoy his company. So and he's only 19. Just look at the size of him already. So I'm really looking forward to what he brings in the next few years. Let's have a look at some of the crosses, and I couldn't find many, but look, those third quarter fade outs, they're still doing my head in a bit. I just wish we could just put in a 4-quarter performance. I'd love to see it. It's pretty hard to do it for 4 quarters. A comprehensive win, but I thought maybe against Adelaide that would be the game where we do it. I guess it's going to be against West Coast in 2 or 3 weeks' time after the bye. That'll be interesting to see how much we win by. Tell you what, if we don't win by over 50 or 60, I think we've blown it a little bit in terms of what percentage we could have gained. But anyway, back to third quarter fade outs. Yeah, a bit concerning. I think last week it was the second quarter fade out. Just kind of let the opposition get back into it, which is not great, especially against the better teams. Which is probably the next point really around an unconvincing win, like a 42-point win against Adelaide. Yeah, you got the job done. It's kind of tough really when you play a lesser competition that you, without being disrespectful to Adelaide, like they're not going to compete for the premiership this year. But you just think the Cats probably should have won by 10 goals. Maybe we're lucky even that the margin wasn't less, considering Adelaide missed their first 6 shots, I think it was, on goal. So it could have been a lot closer too. We did what we needed to do, but I'd like it to be a bit more comprehensive next time. Now, Graham has played really well, but how quickly we all move on to the next whipping boy, and it seems like Koladash and his Special K is in the gun again. He frustrates me a little bit, but I think we could probably have a break this week from the whipping boys. Give them a bit of a rest. Now I've got injury concerns, probably not coming so much out of the game, but just looking at the list and just seeing, and even looking at the VFL side, seeing who's playing and not playing, and just the depth scares me a little bit at the moment. Not the depth of talent so much, but just who's available. And I hear all this talk, when the bye comes, we'll get everyone back. But that's not to say we're not going to get more injuries. Like, to think you're not going to get another injury throughout the rest of the year, it's ridiculous. So, we'll just love to get a lot more players, 4 or 5 more players available playing each week. Which we're not seeing that at the moment, at least, anyway. And lastly, inefficiency inside 50. Look, I'm being really picky here because it was a pretty good game all round from the Cats. There's not really much to whinge about, but I thought we did pretty well. So we weren't making the most of our opportunities. I think we had 60-odd inside 50s and just didn't really convert from many of them. I didn't have that many scoring shots. I think Adelaide were much more efficient with their entries inside 50. So whether that's just the ball use through the midfield or, maybe that's got something to do with they were looking for Scratch and Neil a fair bit, at least, half a dozen times, and he just, couldn't quite sort of clunk those marks, and the ball came out again pretty quick. But yeah, and even Brad Close, like, he played okay, kicked a goal, had 20-odd touches or something, 19 touches, something like that, but just looks a little bit off it at the minute. Maybe I'm wrong. Tell me if I am. I just think he's normally clean and makes great decisions, and every now and then you just never saw him make a bad decision, but I'm seeing a little bit more of Closey at the moment. And I love Closey. I think we all know he's my favourite player, and he's a living god. But, he's a little off for me at the minute. Anyway. All right, so who did I'm going to go through my votes. I'll tell you who I went with. I've gone with Cam Guthrie for the 1. Thought he was great all day. He got a stack of the ball, a lot of the 1-2 stuff which he normally gets, but I think he was really putting in the effort throughout the whole, all over the ground. So 1 for him. Selwood, 13 tackles, 20-odd touches, just great again. I love him. We're going to lose him one day though, but he's still getting votes, and he'll be up there in the Cargy Greaves medal again at 34 years of age. He turned 34 about a few days ago, within the week. Blitzarves, I reckon he's probably won. I haven't done it yet, but I think he would have won Player of the Month for May. Tell me if I'm wrong. I mean, Stewart might nudge him a little bit, but Blitzarves has been in the votes most weeks throughout this month, so I'm leaning towards that. I might do a poll tonight and see what everyone else thinks on that one. Tom Atkins, he'd be up there as well, but probably not. Doesn't stand out as much as some of the others. And clearly Tom Stewart on the weekend with his 40 touches, 16 marks and 17 intercept positions. An absolute star. So you have to give it to Tom Stewart for sure. All right, so let's look at some tweets of the week. So that first tweet this week is from the boys, the Chaps Chat Cats, and they say, just an exciting process to watch. This is a team building to get back to the top. 9 players aged 23 or under in the game today. 4 of them were under 21. Geez, I didn't know that. Or younger. Ups and downs, but we're moving forward. Yeah, chaps, we're definitely showing some good signs with these kids coming through. Now they're not going to play all 22 games, with the exception of probably Sam de Koning's missed one already, but I don't think they're all going to be in the side week in, week out. Sam de Koning is the exception to that. I think unless they decide to rest him, he'll be there the whole time. Potentially, Max Holmes would have been. You'd think. Look, they might stay with Cooper Stevens a bit longer. I imagine they'll probably give him 10 or 11 games, and I think we'd all be happy to see him get 10 or 11 games. But beyond that, I think they'll just rotate some players through, probably towards the back end of the year if we're going okay and we're really looking like we're going to contend for a top 4. I think that's when we'll start seeing some of the more senior players get picked over the younger players, and that happens at all clubs. So I think that'll probably happen with us, but we'll see. All right, who's next? Tweet number 2 is from Mish. I think that's right. Sorry, the little icon didn't show up there, Mish, but I think it's a glass of wine or something next to your name there. Myers needs a haircut every week. A much more promising week. TS on fire. Tom Stewart on fire as usual. Loving Stengel. He can find the goals. That boy. He sure can. He's a gun, isn't he, Stengers? I was critical on him at the start of the year because I thought he was getting some goals, but I don't think he was working. He wasn't getting them himself. He was getting the Joe the Gooses, and he was getting all the work through the midfield. But goodness me, the last 6 or 7 or 8 weeks, he's been great. And what's he on target for 46 goals for the year? probably be in conversations for All-Australian if they are going to pick a small forward. Generally, they pick the best forwards, so he may not get looked in, but he should, really. If they're picking it the old-fashioned way, if you're picking a team the old-fashioned way, you want a small forward in there, he'd clearly be up there with a chance. So, there you go. All right, thanks, Mesh. Now, Mel says, she's got a few different ticks here. So, Stewart, what a weapon. Jez, lit. DK for the Brownlow. Thank you, Mel. Don't know if that's going to happen, but I like the love there for DK. And I know you go DK, and the rest of us say SDK, but either is fine. Depends what school you went to, not a problem. Brian, shut up the haters. Yeah, fair enough. He earned it this week. Axe, grit, definitely. Coach broke most wins last round. Yeah, doesn't get enough talk about that, really. Blitz, Joel, Guthers and Stengel, tick, tick, tick. Tick. And the way we've developed talent without a top pick since 99 is unmatched. It sure is unmatched. We're the best recruiting club there is, full stop. There's no argument. We are the best, and it's been proven by our record over the last, since 2007, and go all the way back to 2002 if you want. So that's 20 years of drafting excellence. An absolute 2-decade-long masterclass by Stephen Wells. There's no one better. And that's all there is to say about that. Thanks, Mel. Now, Damo. Have you been on this, Damo, before? I don't know if you have. If Zach Guthrie just attacked the footy a bit more and made a stand that he wants this opportunity, I'd be a very happy Cats fan. Take your chance, young fella. Damo, I thought, I'm loving what Guthrie's, or Hulk, we calling him Hulk Guthrie now? The guns. I'm loving what he's doing. He's just this look of confidence on his face now, and he's attacking the ball a lot more, and he just seems to trust himself, which is really important. He seems to be a confidence player. He's like, do I belong? Don't I belong? I don't know. Do these blokes trust me? Do I trust myself? I'm loving what I'm seeing from Guthrie. Well, since he's been back in the side anyway. Even at the start of the year, I didn't think he was that bad to lose his spot, but I mean, you got to make it hard for players to keep. You got to make it hard for them to keep their spot. So, I was more than happy for him to go back, even though I thought he's a little bit unlucky. All right, and our last tweet is from Joey M. And I think Joey's been on before, but Joey says solid win. Defence was good. Tommy Atkins earned his fish suver again today, and Tom Stewart had it on a string. Getting it out of the middle is still a challenge, and we're still a little fumbly. Agree with that. Doggies next week will be a true test to see where we're at. Yeah, I think the Doggies are going to be a test for us. I'm a bit nervous. I'm always nervous. Probably not nervous against Adelaide, but I'm always nervous against a team that's just below us or clearly better than us. But we're 7-4, so we're clearly doing something right. We're where we were, same as where we were in 2020. I think 7-4. Again, made the grand final that year. So until we actually look like we're not, I'm going to stay confident that we're a chance again this year. So we'll wait and see. But yeah, anyway, got the Doggies next week. So, and I think we all remember what happened last time, don't we? Yeah, well, this happened as well, but this is real. We had the goal after the siren from Gary Rowan. Wasn't it great? Look at the people behind there in the crowd. Look at Dalhouse. That's a 10 out of 10 jump there to get on top. I don't know who he's under him. We've got Jed Buse is getting crushed. Gary Rowan's probably dead somewhere in that huddle of humanity. But that was that was great, wasn't it? For those that were there, wasn't many at the game. It was still half locked out there. Not many people with masks on in the background there. Maybe you didn't have to at that point. I was too excited. That was great, wasn't it? Anyway, that's the show, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll catch you through the week. We've got Draft Wars coming up through the week as well, and we'll have another show of Behind the Play, this week. I won't say who the guest is coming on just yet. I like to get the episodes in the can before I announce that and locked away. So I hope you had a chance to catch up with the episode with Alan Bundy Christensen. It was a great little interview there for about 60 minutes. Talks about his junior days and his career with the Cats and career with the Brisbane Lions, and then what he's doing after footy as well. And he's doing some good things over in Tassie with some of the Indigenous people over there. And it would be a difficult time for them. Some this Indigenous round or Sir Doug Nicholls round is probably a time for a celebration, but also a sad time for a lot of our First Nations people as well. So, but yeah, I just love seeing them get out there and do their business. So I really enjoyed, and I really appreciated Bundy coming on the show. It was great to see him recollect, and for Paul James, to our host. Here comes the cat to say hello. Oh, get off! Right at the end. Yeah, so it's just I've lost my plot a little bit there. So yeah, anyway, so that's pretty much the end of the show. Check out Draft Wars as well. Which, thank you. All right, I better say goodbye because this cat probably wants to get fed. All right, take care, guys. Go Cats.